welcome back to ELC. We'll be starting the game, the first quarterfinal, in just a few seconds. I talked briefly with Thijs about his match and about his chances. How does he see the strategy in this matchup? And he said to me that every single of the games that he had predicted that can happen after the bans is very close to each other when it comes to the win ratio. You know, the decks that Ikealyou is playing are very aggressive, so they don't have like super bad matchups against like lineup from Thijs, because Thijs is not running like an insane anti-aggro lineup like some other guys, like Life Coach, for example, like Firebat, right? So it's very close. So he's not really that sure of not sure of his own chances in this. He's not like super favored, but at the same time, Thijs is one of the players that is actually all going into with confidence into every single game. But for Ikealyou, this is the moment of truth for him. This is the first invitational tournament that he's playing ever in. So coming out of the group stage is already a huge achievement. But now he wants to just go as far as possible. So he will be for sure playing on top of his game.
Yeah, although he's a really experienced player, he played many Open Cups, and yeah, he also made it to the regionals once. And I still think that Thijs, you said it's kind of close, but I think Thijs has a slightly advantage just in bringing the Priest. And he leaves Ikealyou with both Pirate decks open, so he banned the Warlock. And on the other hand, Ikealyou banned the Warrior, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, banning the Warrior is actually quite common nowadays, but at the same time, Ikealyou is running his own Shaman, his own Warrior that is more aggressive than the Dragon Warrior, right? So
yeah,
it's
kind of
it's a question of how do you build your deck so it can be paired against other mid-range decks, and I feel like banning the Warrior is probably the best choice. But at the same time, as you said, the Priest might be the downfall for Ikealyou if he's just not able to go through those really insane big minions every single turn, right? By the way, the turn 1 Finley is a great help against any aggro deck, since 3 points of toughness on this minion is just basically like an additional tool for trading. It acts like a spell damage, basically.
So Finley, the Slayer of pirates, not dragons, pirates, gets rid of all those pirates, like patches and stuff like that.
With that machete of his.
Yes, just slaying down them.
Yeah. Ikealyou with a really good opener, by the way.
Yeah.
The Finley into a weapon. The Jade Claws are doing massive work against the small-time Buccaneers. Perfect answer for that minion, actually, especially when the Shaman didn't have a weapon yet. So definitely an impressive opening for Ikealyou. But at the same time, the 7-7 now is a risky move from Thijs, because if there will be a Flame Tongue Totem from Ikealyou, and I think there actually was it? No, it's half a Horse Rider.
I just felt in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he just grabbed it instantly and just played it, right? So I was like, oh my god, if that's a Flame Tongue Totem, he has a really easy trade. There's a Flame Tongue Totem for Thijs, a second one.
He's just pushing face here, says, I'm faster than you are.
Yeah. Basically, Ikealyou wants to race now because he knows he can't really trade with the 7 right now. But at the same time, he has his plan that he has the Jade Lightning for the next turn, which can be used as a half of the Giant, basically. So he has some options. For Thijs now is the question, do I use my 7-7 as a racing tool, or do I use it as to trade, right? And the question is very important because of the fact that you have some board control as well with the Mouse and Portal in your hand, and with the Taunt, you're able to kind of dictate the tempo in the future turns, right?
In those matchups, like the fast decks against each other, it's always important to play on the board in the first few turns. Often you see aggressive deck versus aggressive deck. Still, both decks are at 25 HP, having no cards left, because they neutralize each other. And Thijs' deck is slightly slower, so he should play on board here. He can't really race him. Jade Lightning does the job here, clears off the 7-7.
What do you think about it? Jade Lightning is such a sick card. It's just it's like Lava Burst without the overload, but it creates a minion instead of the 1 damage more and then overload, right? It doesn't maybe necessarily close out games as often as Lava Burst because it's the 1 damage difference, but at the same time it's way better during the mid game because it doesn't cripple your mana efficiency in the upcoming turn. It doesn't buff the Trog, but I think that's less important. But
Yeah,
it's just so much better in the mid game.
It's just less important because you don't want to play too many spells in the early game. You just want to slam all your creatures on the board. Afterwards, play weapons and or spells. So it's completely fine here. Especially the Jade mechanic, you play 4 cards. Maybe some decks do run also Aya as an additional one. So you have in total with the Death Rattle effect 6 Jade golems. Or you can produce 6 of them. You won't get them normally, but it's pretty strong.
It seems that the board position for Ikealyou is getting insane, to be honest. With his hand with the Flame Tongue Totem, and then in the upcoming turn, he can play just the Doomhammer, and with the hero power from Druid, that means insane amount of output, of the damage output against Thijs. It doesn't look good for him.
No.
Thijs is getting basically wrecked. Like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
4 mana available. Spell Power Totem doesn't even help that much. You just kill basically 3 minions, but still Flaming Totem and a Jade Golem remains. That's 5 damage. Your opponent already has a weapon. Whew.
Yeah, that's tough here. And thing from below that could stop the aggression. It's just not so good here because of the Flame Tongue Totem, of course. And that's really, really bad. And Ikealyou with the 3/3 Jade already in turn 6. For an aggressive deck, that's on top to your aggression. That's that's just insane.
Oh, Finley, really? Okay, that's interesting. I was thinking about 2 ways. Of either you've hero power and Rockbiter down the Flame Totem, so basically decrease 4 damage from the game. Or you just go for basically Buccaneer and then Finley.
Yeah, maybe he says like Finley trades kind of good into the Horse Rider if he lets him, but I don't see how this will go.
This is like a board matchup basically.
Yeah.
Whoever gets to make better trades probably wins the game just in a eye blink, you know. So in this situation, Ikealyou most likely will trade the 3/3 into the Finley, push damage with other creatures, and that's probably about it. Wow, now Thijs lost the ability to play his air power totem. So that's about it when it comes to the damage from the Maelstrom.
Yeah, maybe he says the only way I win is when my opponent misplays here. So I just put out creatures, but this won't happen, of course. He's just stuck with double Flame Tongue Totem in his hand, and that's just so bad.
He gets the best outcome from the Maelstrom portal, but it's too late and too little.
Yeah.
He can still play the thing from below this turn, but it's still not really that helpful. I mean, your opponent has a Doomhammer with the Druid hero power, so he can basically deal 3 damage to the thing from below, then just use one of the Jade Golems to trade down, and that's only from the board state. He still has cards in his hand.
Yeah,
Horse Rider will help as well. So the question is, do you want to take 9 damage to the face? Most likely not.
Well,
So,
why not?
I mean, you are far ahead, but if you want to give your opponent maybe a slightest chance of winning this game, taking 9 damage to the face seems like a best idea to do that. You know, I mean, it's quite a lot. That's like 1/3 of the game.
Yeah, but you're going down to 17, right? Because you used the hero power, and 17 should be more than stable. You got 1 creature more on the board.
Your opponent still can get a second Maelstrom portal, and then you lose all your minions, basically.
Yeah, playing it really doesn't feel too good then.
Oh, that's the second time we see a Pit Snake
Nice.
in this tournament.
He just goes for the board, as we said. Just clearing the board here seems fine, especially because Thijs only got 1 card left in his hand, and as we can see, it's just a 1-drop. Not charging here because there's no weapon, of course.
So in this scenario, Lightning Bolt has to be used for the Pit Snake, then the 2/3 goes into the 2/1. You kill yourself to 11, and your opponent still has, just on board, 9 damage. and 5 durability on Doomhammer.
Yes.
So even after striking next turn, he still has 6 damage from just the Doomhammer plus the hero power, so that's 8. Basically 9 damage still remain. So if Thijs want to draw a Ferrowolves next turn, or at least Think from Below, he is dead.
Yeah, but even Think from Below, there's still the snake. Most likely he will just kill it off now. But
Actually, killing the Jade Golem is way better what I'm talking about. Yeah. Makes no sense to leave a free HP minion on board. Sorry, free attack minion on board when the Pit Snake will still live. Will still trade. Unless you will not have a chance to kill the Pit Snake next turn, and then you top deck a Thing from Below and dice to the Pit Snake. So maybe actually killing the Pit Snake was better with the Lightning Bolt. Doesn't really matter. Jade Lightning will seal the game for Ikealyou. It's 1-0 in the first quarterfinal, and that means Thijs is on the back foot. He will now need to battle from behind, having only access to 2 classes, and that will be Priest and Warlock.
yeah, but if you're just left with 2 classes, that are exactly the 2 classes you want to have here. Especially against the lineup which plays 2 pirate decks.
Yep.
The Warrior and the Shaman. So I wonder if you are going for the Reno Warlock here or for the Dragon Priest. What would you pick?
I don't exactly know the text in the Reno Warlock. I know it's a way different that from the one that Live Coach plays, because it's not sporting the Bloodseer Cursor and the patch as an example, which is very helpful against aggro decks. So I would say probably that he will go with the Priest, because it's one of the decks that if it curves out, turn 1 Twilight Whelp, turn 2 into 2/4 Taunt, and then into the Shadow Wards, Pain, Death, whatever is needed against the Shaman. Basically you have an easy game, right? But it's still it would require you to have the early game, and might be problematic for a deck that is basically a midrange.
Yeah, but he's going for the Dragon Priest, just as you said. Seems to be a really good choice here.
Well, he is lacking another dragon. The problem is now Twilight Whelp is not playable in turn 1 because it has 1 HP. It dies to patches.
Yeah.
It's completely horrible. No dragon still, but he can as well just play the Cleric, which is not bad.
No, it's not bad here. Because as we just said in the last game, Sir Finley is just good versus those decks because it trades well, and it of course has the same stats than the Cleric. So it goes and slays patches all day long.
Yep. And now the question is for Ikealyou, do I want to play the Small-Time Buccaneer to just give his opponent the draw if you won't play a Taunt minion on turn 2, because then the Cleric can attack into patches, can heal himself for 2, basically goes back to the original state, which is 1/3, but at the same time you're still developing a board while not losing anything, because the patches was for free. So you can't really think about it like, oh man, I'm losing card advantage here.
Yes, because basically it wasn't a card that you played.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like playing the the Small-Time Buccaneer is not a bad option, but as well you can also just Lightning Bolt and play Small-Time Buccaneer next turn.
Yeah, but he just passes the turn, not playing anything at all. So he can next turn he can kill off the Cleric with the weapon
and the weapon, right?
Yeah, exactly. Still buffing his Small-Time Buccaneer if he wants to.
Interesting, because now this means that Thijs will have to think why my opponent didn't play anything on turn 1.
Yes.
There was actually like a lot of options for the Shaman. Usually when you just see the chances of what can be drawn, right? He has the coin. He can even play Totem Golem. That means that what you can read from this, there's for sure no Totem Golem in the hand, because it would have been played 100%. So if there are pirates, why my opponent didn't play a pirate? I think like Thijs actually predicts now that there's a Small-Time Buccaneer and a weapon, and my opponent does just want to take advantage of the coin next turn to play it at the same time. So patches will trade with one of the minions, right? But now the plan changes. A Lightning Bolt kills off the Cleric, and the patches kills the Twilight Whelp. So that's quite unfortunate for Thijs.
Yeah, that's so strong. And he can just follow up on curve with the claws if he wants to, buffing up the small-time Buccaneer. Yeah, and he got double claws. It's a bit unfortunate for him that he couldn't really play it earlier, but that's a nice top deck. Another 2 damage just rushing to the face.
I think he will be trading.
Just trading here, yeah, of course
right
you will. But 3 damage now, because then you're just saving the small-time Buccaneer here. It's even better.
Dragonid operative and no dragons in hand. This is so terrible.
Still no dragons.
But at the same time, Blackman Corruptors are fine for 10-5. So, I guess it's not that terrible. The problem is that there are no good targets for that Blackman Corruptor, because the Hydrogen Horse Rider is like, you know, kind of ignores the projectile from it. But still, Thijs has to play something, so I guess Blackman Corruptor has to be played.
That's not a bad card in this matchup. But he's kind of fine. He's still at 26 HP in turn 5.
But actually,
pretty comfortable.
That's true, but what do you think about actually just using Hero Power and the Shadow Word Pain? 10-5 can be... Well, there's no curve basically in Ikealyou's deck, so there's nothing for 5 mana, right? So the biggest baddest minion can be 7-7, which can be played because Ikealyou was overloaded for one this turn, so Thijs doesn't really know if there's a 7-7. So the question is, even if he plays the Blackman Corruptor, can he trade up? And the answer is yes, if the Blackman Corruptor is preserved on the board, so he needs to kill the 1-1, because then...
but
actually, it doesn't really matter, because then it's still claws to attack. So he has no way of
yeah, dealing with the 7-7. That's pretty bad here. But as we can see, Ikealyou doesn't have the 7-7.
But he just top-decked the best card in this matchup.
Yeah, especially...
Doomhammer is insane.
Especially if you're holding Rockbiter.
Yeah. This is something that Thijs definitely didn't want to see at all, and probably, yeah, he will just shake his head because he knows that this card is nuts. It's so much damage coming straight to the priest face, and you can't really stop it without taunts. So in this case, I feel like it has to be Dragonid operative.
Yeah.
Well, what can you get? You can get a Malsum portal. You can get. Feral Sprit's actually
Feral Sprit.
Awesome.
A little bit of taunt.
Yeah, that is super important, especially when your opponent doesn't have the Druid Hero Power as last game.
Yes, exactly. But as we can see, Maelstrom Portal will help him here. But are there any other options? Because he's thinking of maybe the Flame Tongue Totem or the Lava
Totem doesn't really matter
but it
in
just
this matchup.
doesn't help, right?
The way you win as a priest against the Shaman is just build up the board, and your opponent is exhausted out of resources. The only way then the Shaman can win is just by attacking with the weapons, you know, because they don't require board advantage. So I definitely don't see a pick the Flaming Totem, and Lava Abyss is just so much mana.
Yeah, but maybe he was like, my opponent just smashed his face into my minion twice, so he's going down to 11 now. Maybe the Lava Burst will just surprise my opponent, and I can just kill him faster.
Look at that. You have a brand.
That won't happen, right?
We have a brand with Corruptor that leaves your opponent at 5. Then Lava Burst could have actually been
Yeah,
lethal.
that Lava Burst. Damn.
But you can't really predict that. That is like such a small chance. You would have to get Bran, wait a turn, and then you need to play Bran with Corruptor on turn 8.
Yeah.
And then turn 9 you kill your opponent. So this turn he would have to just survive. But
yeah,
you
but
can't really
it would
predict
have
that.
been possible because he has Shadow Word Pain and can heal up at the same time.
But it's like
you
such
can't.
a small chance.
It's such a small chance. You never play for the one-off Bran here, right? But I think he was thinking about it.
Well, if he was, that's really heads up. Alright, will the Rock Battle be played this turn? Most likely, I guess. No, not yet. He wants to surprise Thijs with the burst, because that means he's able to deal 10, 13, 14 damage next turn. He's only 3 off.
Yeah, and in addition, he can deal with Twilight Guardians if they come down. That's pretty important together with the Maelstrom Portal, because you're afraid of the taunts.
I mean, actually, I'm quite surprised that Ikealyou didn't actually use the Rock Biter right now, because now I see that he only has 3 durability points on his Doomhammer, and that means 2 of those need to be used with the Rock Biter. And if a small amount of like smaller taunts will appear on the board, he would like to use the weapon, right, for them.
But
I mean, maybe not. He's at 11 HP, so that's kind of weird.
But the smaller taunts, they are 2/4, and I don't think he's assuming Feral Spirits out of the Priest deck.
Well, it still can be Twilight Guardian, which
Yeah,
has 6 HP, and then the Doom Hammer is kind of awkward for that, right?
No, you just keep it. It would have been really good together with the Maelstrom Portal, but just the fact that you haven't seen the Guardians yet, it's just like playing either around the top deck by keeping Maelstrom Portal, or you still got the 1/1. So if your opponent will play the Twilight Guardian, you can still clear it off the 1/1. So that's fine.
Interesting that Thijs opted to Power Word Shield the Black Wing Corruptor instead of one of the Feral Spirits. What do you think about that?
Yeah, maybe. It's really interesting. He wants to protect it
From Lightning Bolt, from the second Lightning Bolt, I guess.
Yeah, and he wants to swing the tempo now. So he says, okay, we are both like at low health, but I do have more health than you, Shaman. And
the Black Wing Corruptor is actually a huge threat for the Shaman if he just deals 5 damage to the face, right?
exactly.
Also, maybe he just wanted to get Holy Nova, because then if he will use for Holy Nova first, heal the Corruptor, kill all the small minions, and then can trade into the Totem Golem, or just smash the face for 5.
Yeah, and he just says, I will survive at least one more turn, but will you? And
Next turn he will have 7 mana, so an Azure Drake can be played and a Hero Power.
it's perfectly fine.
1 durability point is used now against one of the Taunters. Gets down to 9 HP. So, the Rock Biter has to be used defensively.
That's interesting.
Well, otherwise he would have been dead. So, pretty damn needed.
Yeah, exactly. Just because Thijs protected his minion here.
So now...
Fortunately, there was no spell in hand for Ikealyou after the spell Power Totem was rolled.
He used one Milestone Portal already. Maybe would have been more impactful this turn, but at the same time, could have predicted that another Power Word Shield doesn't really matter that much. Now the question is, what do? Do you pressure for 5? Or oh, never mind. Ikealyou just doesn't see a way coming out of this pickle, and to be honest, I don't blame him. Like, you are at 9 HP, your opponent has still a taunt, you don't have a way to go through it if you don't top deck a Jade Lightning. Even if you do that, you still have multiple minions to face, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Tough situation. 1-1. It didn't look good in the beginning for Thijs, especially with the 2-1 Twilight Web that just got traded for 0 investment by the patches, right?
Yeah, but the Shaman was just a little bit too slow here. And in the end, he got raised by the Priest.
Yeah.
And getting raised by the Priest if you're an aggro pirate Shaman deck, that doesn't feel too good. But yeah, the Wormrust Agent, he top-decked it in the end. So he drew it in the end, of course he top-decked it. And yeah, then that's it. And as we said, the Priest is so strong against the lineup of Ikealyou. But yeah, fortunately for Ikealyou, he has at least the Druid.
He has the Druid, and he did get the Wild Growth. Fortunately for him, because otherwise that hand looked really bad. For Thijs, the matchup seems to be pretty straightforward. He just needs to be playing like Zoo.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
Just play minion after minion after minion after minion, and then Ikealyou will have a problem to keep up with the amount of threats being put on board. So definitely problematic matchup for the Druid if he doesn't get first on the board. But now Thijs saw the Wild Growth, and that already puts the Druid on 4 mana. So a Jade Spirit can be played on turn 4. That means a 2/3 and a 1/1 will get played, which is easily answerable by the 1/1 can be answered by the 1/3 that he just played, but Nefer and his Nefer-Sped Historian. 2/3 needs to be ignored. So now we have to play what's it, turn 3, turn 4, and it seems to be pretty damn straightforward, right? I mean, the Hungry Dragon is actually a viable pick, because
yeah, actually it is.
You have the Historian that can most likely trade with a 1-drop. So if you play the Hungry Dragon on turn 4, it's a huge threat. It has the same stats as the Dragon Operative, but instead of discovering a card, you give your opponent 1-drop.
Yeah,
so is it worth it, right? But it plays on curve.
it plays on curve, and you have such a strong curve. But operative, it's such a strong card. You don't really want to pass it. It was kind of close decision here. He thought about it a pretty long time. Totally understandable, because you can trade off the 1-drop so easy with the board, most likely.
Now we see that Innervate was used to play as a Drake off curve, and just the top deck card was used for the one
Yes,
for the 1 mana.
that
So
came in handy.
it did. The question is, like, it kind of put you off when it comes to the next turn.
You can still nourish.
I mean, you can,
Yeah, sure.
but it's very passive. 3 damage, well, that helps. The Living Roots now deals with the Vermeer's agent that was buffed by Talent Priest, and still requires 2 damage, so not that easy to deal with by the Priest, right? But fortunately, there's a very special tech
Yes.
in this Priest, a
That-
Defender of Argus.
That's, in this situation, such a strong card.
It's
Because, as you mentioned, you're just playing like you would have been a Sulog, and this card just wrecks control decks if you're a Su. If you just play it on curve, you get all the value out of it. It's so strong here. And it's also good against those pirates out there.
Yeah, that's true. You just need to have some board control. So now this is kind of problematic for Thijs. He doesn't have the Shadow Ward Death, but at the same time, Dragon the Operative is just a huge minion,
Yes.
so can help with this situation. So what do you take here? Well, let's see. You have an Azure Drake in hand for the next turn, so Living Roots actually would deal 3 damage, which is not bad. Innervate can help out with the curve if you want to, because you will have 8 mana, but you don't have 2 4-drops. So that seems to be kind of worse. But now, look at that! The Fandral into second Nourish is nuts.
Yes.
You basically, what you did get with that straw is an Innervate alongside a body.
Yeah.
Because you use the Nourish for both effects, which gets you 3 mana for free card draw.
And you can still draw some cards like Ras that will cycle also. And
Very powerful turn.
yeah, cycling seems good, right? And maybe your opponent just showed you he doesn't have an answer to your tree, to your Ancient of War. So you could protect it, but he doesn't go for it.
So he didn't go for it because he anticipates that there might be an easy answer for Fandral, and he would like to protect it, you
Yeah.
know? So he maybe wants to bait out a removal, a Shadow Ward Pain, a Bookworm.
No, it's
But
about the AoE.
about the... the Dragonfire Potion,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. He would have played into Dragonfire Potion.
Yeah, good point, good point.
I wonder.
So,
But at the same time, he plays into the Dragonfire Potion anyway, because he just played with a Golem, right?
yeah, but he has to play something. So he baits up out the AoE, and then he can play Fandral into Nourish.
I'll have to see. I mean, this situation is not looking good for Ikealyou, to be honest. Like, he's lower on cards. He will need to sacrifice Tempo next turn. And Thijs has 6 mana to develop his own board. So, definitely a problematic situation.
Yeah, but card-wise, he's still kind of fine, because he can fill in the next turn completely, and he draws another 3 cards, plus the one he'll draw anyway, and the turn afterwards he'll draw a card as well. So card or mana-wise, he's still in a good spot here.
Okay, is it a swipe to deal with the Draconid Operator? Because if there's not, that might be problematic for Ikealyou to just get that minion off the table. I mean, he has so much health, right?
Yeah, he'll just draw cards here.
Without the Fandral, so he wants to get. He wants to. He wants to use the Feral Rage with the hero power to just get that Dragon Operative off the table.
Yeah, completely fine here. And he drew 2 swipes.
2 swipes, kind of too late. Would rather have
Yes.
this turn instead of that Feral Rage. But this looks now good for Thijs because he can still develop the board and be ahead.
Yeah, the priest looks so strong. Especially if you play 3 operatives.
That's the second Innervate he could have
Yes.
get. And another Living Root. The Wild Growth, not really that helpful. Innervate can help out with playing the Twilight Guardian, but also next... another Bookworm. Chromagus is tempting as well.
It's pretty impressive, because every time he plays an operative, he basically just gets good cards, right?
Yeah.
Because the card itself is so strong.
Yeah, he got the Chromagus. I love this card, to be honest. I know there's no way you can put it in your deck, but when you get it from Discovery, it actually feels super good.
Yeah, and we already saw it yesterday. Live Coach played it in his games, and he played the golden one, and yeah, I think he also managed to draw additional cards.
He got that additional card, but then his opponent just conceded, you know.
Yes.
So
It's just
we didn't get
I
to see it a lot of it. But now look at it, Bookworm getting a super tempo swing, and an Innervate can help out to get another huge body on the board. A 3/6 Wild Guardian is insanely difficult for Druid to deal with. Like, you have to just power through 6 HP, and then still another minion comes down and has more than probably 6, or just 6, right? And then how do you deal that damage?
Yes, and the Jade is going up to 4/4, but it seems like it's
Still
just,
small.
Yeah.
Still small, and you didn't see a single Shadow Ward death yet. So as soon as Ty's gonna draw more and more and more cards, basically the Jade Golems will become worse.
Yeah.
Because you just play 1 for 1, but the Shadow Ward death puts, when you're ahead of board, is a super insane tempo swing as well. Yes, please play the Chromagus. I just really want to see that on the board. I don't know, I know it might not be the best play, because you have an access to Black and Corruptor, Shadow Ward Pain, and the Power Ward Shield at the same time. But look at that, you can play Chromagus into Power Ward Shield and draw 2 cards. That's so greedy, but at the same time it feels so good.
It feels good, yes, exactly. But is it really the best play? You would need maybe to trade here, right? So
No, Ty's Chromagus.
he can still play it, right?
Yeah, but
He's still going for it.
he just didn't get the second copy of the Acidic Swampus. Oh no. Well, to be honest, yeah, the Chromagus wasn't the best play, but
Yes.
just really wanted to see that. I love the decision to go face. You know that your opponent still has to go through the taunt minions first. If I'm not mistaken, Ikealyou doesn't play Mulch, so this just needs to get damaged, and deal 8 damage to 1 minion by the Druid is just almost impossible.
Yeah, and you're the Zoo, and Zoo goes face, right?
Yeah. It's just a more powerful Zoo.
Yeah. With Chromagus.
Yeah. And again, Chromagus is being picked, not being used. Sad. Really sad to see that.
Yeah. I think Thijs will get over it when he takes the win here.
Probably yes. I mean, for Ikealyou, even if you heal for 8, that just prolongs your agony. This wipe will deal with the Black One Corruptor, but
Exactly.
now if you use the Pharaoh Rage for damage, you can power through the minion, you're still very low. Wow. Sucks so much.
Yeah.
He's at 8, he's at like 16 HP, but his 4/1 minion will just get traded by the never spent Historian.
And maybe your dream will come true, but it's more unlikely that we can see Chromagus this turn.
Because Brand
the
plus Ezreal is actually better.
Yes.
Because you get to draw 2 different cards and not a 1 copy of a specific card.
Still dodging the Drake here, the big one.
I'm disappointed, Thijs. Really disappointed.
I think you have to speak to him after the match.
Yeah, I think I have to. And also, that's also a misplay. He should have healed his face, so the next time he can do it again and brag that he has a perfect score, because he's at 30.
Just paint it white again.
Yeah, you know, you played some fighting games, right? And there's always like the perfect at the end of the round, right? Perfect round.
Yeah, the perfect round. He's not going for the perfect round.
You can still get it. Oh, never mind. Deny it. Thijs takes it 2-1. Ikealyou is not happy about this. His Druid was the best chance to defeat the Priest. And in this case, it didn't go well. I mean, his hand was terrible. He had the Wild Growth, but 2 Nourish and an Ancient of War were very detrimental to what he has to do in this matchup. So getting basically just minions in the beginning was so much more important, right?
Yeah, he just sued him down, and now he's in the bad spot that he has to play the second pirate deck, and that's not, not too good of a matchup. The Defender of Argus, unfortunately, he doesn't have the coin. He can't hold it. But Wyrmrest Agent and already a dragon in his hand. But the Shadow Word Death won't do much here, and another 1-drop. Okay, here we go.
Well, that is actually a really good opening hand. Although the Shadow Word Death is not that great.
And patches.
Patches.
I see patches.
Yeah.
Every time you see patches, you lose, right?
Nah, it's not that terrible.
It's
I
not
mean,
that bad, but
it's not that bad. It of course costs you 1 card, so in the end it might be around 4 damage because you didn't get another card.
and 1 card draw.
Yeah, so it might be a lot of damage output lost in case of the aggressive decks, but at the same time it's not unwinnable when you draw patches. It's just, sad. But for Thijs, even though he has the Shadow Ward Death, which might not be used in this matchup at all, because the opponent, if he plays a Floating Berserker, but maybe that's a
Yes.
target. But having a turn 1 Cleric into turn 2 Vermis Agent, that is being buffed, which is very important. It's
And
actually
Respawn.
super tough to deal with,
Yes.
especially when Ikealyou now has all those pirates in his hand, and they look kind of sad when staring down at the 1/3 Cleric.
Yeah, just pirates, but not activating patches because it's in his hand, and only a 5-drop weapon. So that's
No Fear Warx. I mean, the Fear Warx would have been awesome.
yes, yeah, the War Axe instead of
Buccaneer,
the
but
patches.
no patches. Yeah, and Thijs is like, okay, I have now some more informations, and the question is, do I want to play the Vermis Agent this turn into the Small-Time Buccaneer? Because if your opponent has, he knows that there's no Fear Warx.
Yeah, he
Right?
knows there's patches. There's no Fiery War Axe.
So if he plays the Vermis Agent, the only possible weapon that can be played is either Nzov, the First Mate, Nzov First Mate, that gets him a 1 attack weapon so he can trade with the Vermis Agent. And that's a bad scenario for him. But other than that, I don't see anything else that will just cost him dearly. Like, upgrade just on an empty board is fantastic for Thijs, because it costs so much damage for the warriors. He is actually so happy about it. Heroic Strike is a good answer though, and now not attacking into the Small-Time Buccaneer is actually sad for Thijs.
Yeah, but I think it was the right decision because it's so likely that there's an Ensoed First Mate, and then it's just basically the better play. So it's more likely the better play. So you just play it like he did.
But look at that Potion of Madness. That has so much value if played in, of course, in correct scenario.
Yeah, certainly. And just his style is so clunky of Ikealyou.
But if he gets to
Finally a weapon.
final weapon,
But,
but now, even though he got the weapon for the turn 3, the Arcana Reaper is just like kinda sad about this.
Yeah. Afterwards, you won't use it anymore. But on the other hand, you don't really need it afterwards if you have one. I can hit Reaper in your hand. But Twilight Guardian is just here to stop the aggression. You could also.
I think that's a good turn for just
could
potion.
steal it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Madness Potion, and you steal the
Next
friendly
turn.
and attack into the 3-1. Perfect
exactly.
trade. You can do it the other way around, because then the Small-Time Buccaneer becomes a 1-1, and you're very sad about this. So you need to use on the friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Just kill off both minions. Heal yourself back to 28. Going for the perfect.
Yeah, and
finish.
then you can play. Twilight Guardian into a turn when your opponent played a Corcoran Elite, because he doesn't have a good way of answering it, so he needs to sacrifice the Corcoran Elite into it. And I would like that. I would really like to see that, because if he plays the Twilight Guardian, it basically just dies to the board state. I mean, there's 5 damage if your opponent, and he knows there's a patches in hand, so that's already 6. Do you want to sacrifice
Yeah, but
the
on
Twilight Guardian there
on
for
the
that?
other hand, maybe it's not too bad because it stops the complete aggression. Both players do it.
I don't know. I don't like this. But I don't like this, to be honest, because it's just the Potion of Madness here has insane value.
Yeah.
While the Twilight Guardian is just way better to stop Corcoran Elites and in the future, or stop the Arcana Reaper from attacking you for twice to their face, basically.
It's just a question which card of both will get more value over the duration of the game.
And you think Potion Madness will get bigger value
No.
later? Yeah, exactly.
So
right?
I'm completely with you.
Interesting.
Yeah, Portal Strike. He's protecting his board.
Oh, wait. He did trade. That's
Yeah.
interesting, right?
No,
Because-
it's fine because he would have had no weapon, so this turn it would have been the same amount of damage.
I mean, he would have to play
Maybe
Arcana Reaper next turn, and that adds +2 damage.
yes for next turn.
Yeah.
I wonder.
And Thijs doesn't really. Maybe he's playing around the Holy Nova.
Maybe, maybe.
No, I don't think so. But
Maybe he plays around the potion.
no,
I'm not sure.
I'm
But
not sure.
Shadow Word Pain is being used on our Finley. That is never good. That is never good, but at the same time, we know that Thijs can just exhaust the the Pirate Warrior because it doesn't have a draw. Now, the second Arcade Reaper, well, that's 20 damage.
Yeah.
That's 20 damage, and Thijs doesn't have any more taunts. So, that Twilight Guardian that he just played so recklessly on turn 4 could have get more value. Oh, look at that. Speaking of taunts.
Speaking of more taunts, here we go. More taunts incoming. But still, it's 10 damage in the hand via the Arcanate Reaper, and then still you got the Pirates. Oh, another one.
It's very lucky for Thijs that Ikealyou doesn't draw Bloodsail Cultist or an upgrade, because an upgraded Arcanate Reaper is like insane. It's just so much damage.
Yeah, playing all Pirates now.
Okay, so
even
now
if you
Potion of
top-decks it-
Badness will just have some value.
Yeah.
And a second Cavalry Talon Priest, that's a really good turn. Because now you get to buff all the Talon Priest, you get to heal yourself, you get to kill everything on the board. You get to clear, which is even more important, you get to clear every single pirate. So now you know Bloodsail Corsair is a really bad draw.
Yeah, it's a naked Bloodsail Corsair.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't know what's there in the hand as the last card, but he can anticipate it. It can be something as another weapon, or a Heroic Strike, or a second Mortal Strike.
Yes.
Because if there would be a Bloodsail Corsair, it would have already have been played, so he knows it's not that card. And if it would have been a Korkon Elite, that would have already been played last turn as well, so he can get that out of the way as well. Second, Arcanate Reaper is something that Thijs doesn't want to see at all. He needs a taunt. That's not a taunt.
Yeah, double Shadow Word Death in his hand. Basically, that card's here. No Frozen Berserker yet on the side of Ikealyou, so no target at all.
So now, if he puts on board 3/5 attack, well, he cannot put 5 because now he used the hero power to heal himself. So he doesn't set up lethal, but even with the Twilight Web, he wouldn't be able to set up lethal. That's a bad draw. So it seems like Ikealyou has basically 2 turns. If he deals the damage with the Mortal Strike for 6, he has 11. So I feel like he needs to attack with the Arcane Reaper, because even an upgrade next turn doesn't win him the game, because he doesn't have the additional turn of attacking, you know? So he needs to get a Leroy Jenkins next turn, or a Korkon Elite, to get the best chance of winning the game.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for him because his turns and his draw from the beginning on in this match was so bad. Double Arcanate Reaper kept him kind of in the game, but he needs to stop drawing his 1-drops.
I mean, he would have been really good in a good position in this game if he would just get to have an upgrade or a Bloodsail Corsair. That would have been such an amazing draw for him, that the additional 6 damage from a single Arcanate Reaper could have made the difference between winning and losing an entire quarterfinal. Because right now, with this draw, if he doesn't get to get like an insane power draw next turn, it seems like he's in losing position.
Yeah.
Does he wants to kill one of the Talon Priests? Yes, he actually kills it. And now he waits for the upgrade. So this is his strategy.
Yeah.
He wants to get the upgrade next turn that guarantees 12 damage, so he can still win with a Leroy Jenkins, basically. But the problem is, his hero power now, the dagger, is completely useless.
Yeah.
And I really would like to see what were his other options, because maybe it wasn't worth to get the draw hero power at that point, right? Like seeing his head at that point when he had the Arcane Reaper,
Yes.
we said that it's really weird that he took it, right?
Yeah, but on the other hand, he kind of had to take it to make all the pirates do at least something.
But at the same time, even with actually I was wrong, Stan. Even when you draw an upgrade and Leroy Jenkins, you have no way of dealing that much damage.
Yeah, because of
This
the
is
healers,
18,
right?
and Thijs is already here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Thijs wins the first quarterfinal here in Norman's eSports Super Sub, takes it to the semi-final. This is the end of the road for Ikealyou, but still a really good performance for him.